Hello and welcome to Finger Thinking, a channel dedicated to analog productivity and creativity tools. Okay, so today we have another typewriter which is brand spanking new to me. It is fresh out of the car. Now this is a Royal 202 because it says Royal on the front and 202 on the top. I know such a small amount about this machine. I can't find very much about it. It is a Triumph Adler organization machine. It is made in Japan for the Triumph Adler organization. So this makes it a very, very light machine. It is all plastic. The base is plastic, the top is plastic, the body is plastic. So I am going to guess that this is actually a 1980s machine, but I can't date it because I have the serial number, which is just down here, but I can't even find it on the typewriter database because I don't know what else this was badged at. Okay, so this machine I've just bought on eBay. I bought it from one of Australia's charity shop, Goodwill style stores. And when I went to pick up a different machine that I'd actually bought, I was talking to the lady at the collection centre and asked about this machine, which I had seen listed, but then I'd forgotten to bid on it, and then it had expired, and then it was gone. Anyway, so I asked her if the machine was still available because I was aware that no one had bid on it, and she said it was, so I offered to pay the listing price and got the machine. Now, so it cost me $10 Australian, which might sound like a lot for a broken machine, but it was a charity shop. So, and I know this charity shop does a lot of good work. If I'd been buying it off Gumtree or Marketplace, you would have been giving it to me for free. So anyway, so yeah, this machine was a little unexpected when I walked out the door this morning to do some errands, but here we are. So of course, the allure of the machine is actually the broken carriage. And so I'm hoping that I can fix it on camera today. Now, with this listing, the listing had disappeared, but I remember that I'm sure there were heaps of photos with it, and I'm sure one of the photos showed that the drawband string down here had come off the spring. So that's what I'm expecting to have to do today. And we'll see how quickly this comes apart, how easily it all works. It's in pretty good condition, like the machine's pretty clean, I have to say. So it does come with a case, which I haven't got on camera because I can't get the case on it at the moment. But yeah, so hopefully by the end of this video, we will have the carriage working because we'll be able to unjam the spring, the string. So I'll just zoom in now just in case we can see it here. We might not be able to, but I'll get the back off in a sec. All right, let's pull this apart. Okay, so if we have a look at this, it looks like the whole thing is actually just two parts. So, this is going to be fun. It's just occurred to me that I'm like, yeah, I'll take out this screw and I'll take the screw off from the other side. But of course, that won't work because I can't get to the screw on the other side. Oh dear. All right, let's see what we can do. Okay, so I'm going to try really hard to get this on camera. Now, absolutely, definitely, there's my tool. Down in here, we can see the drawband, and we can also see wrapped around the little shaft there that it sits on is the string. So the string starts over here. It comes down and then it's wrapped around here. So I have to somehow pull that out, and I might even Now I'm looking at it closely. I might even find that the way I do that is the end of the drawband string is just down in here. So I suspect I might actually have to take this off completely, and that's how I will actually, and then I'll just have to rewind the string. But that's what I'll be doing. Hopefully, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm just pulling that up. I'm going to have to pull it out of, there's a little kind of U-shaped bit of steel that this sits in. A little bit of U-shape. I'm going to fall, this is going to fall off my hand, sorry. There we go. A little bit of U-shape, piece of steel down here. And so what I'm going to try and do, so if that's supposed to catch on that, I'm going to need my little hook tool so I can kind of lift this up from the other side and get that out. And if it lets go, that is what it is, because I need to be able to move this carriage. Okay, so I've actually got that off. So now let's see if, there we are, so I can move the carriage back now. So that's great. Now I can just unscrew, there we go, screw here, whoops, screw here and one on the other side, then I can take the body off and then I can rewind the spring. Now I expect there to be, because there's only the two screws, but I expect there to be little tabs. So there's one there, there's one over here that are just around the body of the machine. It looks like there's another one here. There's a little plastic tab at the front, another one on the other side. Okay, and here again. So I'm counting 6 tabs that I'm gonna have to not break as I get this case off. So okay, so I've got a little bit of lift at the back. So I've just carefully put my screwdriver into here and here, and I'm not going to lift all the way up. I'm just going to lift a little bit. Then I'm going to move around to the side and do the same thing, because I just really don't want to accidentally snap anything. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's the back bit, and now just the front ones. Each side and then the middle. Because what I'm really worried about is just, because it's plastic, I don't want to damage the plastic with screwdriver lever marks. Okay. All right. That sounds promising. Okay, so there we go. Excellent. Just need to move that over to the side a little bit and then move it back. Let's take that off. All right, so if we just have a quick look in case anyone ever wants to do this at home. Down the bottom, and these are the same all around, so we have the lugs are attached to this bottom plate. And so what I needed to do, and you can see it a little bit here actually. You can see that there's a little bit of a tool mark now because I've stuck this in. I just had to kind of push my screwdriver in, and it was a really narrow slit, right? It wasn't a proper gap, so I had to push it in and just pull the top bit back a little bit so that it would pull over this lug. All right, but it was pretty straightforward. And it's come off in one go. Okay, so I've just kind of moved the camera and hopefully I don't bump it. I'm really sorry if I do, it's just kind of in my way so that you guys can see what's going on here. But at the end of the day, we have the drawstring, we have the drawband. It is clearly, it's lost all its tension, but it wasn't under tension when I took it kind of out of its little kind of holder. But we can see if the camera lets me focus, we can see, and I might hit this with an arrow in post. So just down kind of the back in here, we can see that the string is wrapped around the little shaft. So that's all I'm going to do at the moment, is just unwind that. Okay, so based on how stiff this string is and the way it's holding its shape, I suspect this has been busted for a little while, and then someone's just gone, I couldn't be bothered fixing this, or they didn't know how to fix this. It is a typewriter, so it's a bit niche. Probably not going to need my typewriter much in the future, so I will just donate it to the op shop. Okay, so that's off now. So we have a nice long string, and now the spring moves. So now I just need to rewind it. And I have no idea how many times I will need to actually wind the spring to wind this back up, because I have absolutely no kind of reference point. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind this counterclockwise, and I'm just going to wind the spring. I'm not going to put the drawband around it yet. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to try 5 and see how much tension. Actually, I might try 6, because I think there's 3 winds of the spring just for the string. So that's 6. Now, if I hold this closely, I should be able to let the string wind back on to the drawband spring of its own accord. Okay, so there we go. That feels like pretty reasonable tension. Bugger! I've let it go again. Rah! Okay, this is why whenever you watch the typewriter videos, they say don't mess with the drawband if you don't have to. Anyway, we can see how it's done, so I'm going to just give it another go, and eventually I will get it wound, and then I can put it back. And I can put it back in its little holder here where it belongs. Seems to be okay. That last little bit is just, we've got the end of the string here. So if I can pull that back out again, all I did was bring it up, hook it and pull it down into that U-shaped piece, and then I can let it go because the knot catches it. All right, let's see if it works. And it does not. All right. Okay, well, it comes as absolutely no surprise that there is more than one issue with this machine. I seem to be getting that a lot lately, but that serves me right for buying typewriters that cost me $10 and are advertised as busted. Anyway, so this does not work at all. So if I turn it over and have a look at it, all right, so if we push the space bar, we can, yes, it's upside down, so it's going to always work a little bit differently upside down, but we're just looking at the linkages now, right? So we've got this bar here, which moves this little kind of plate bar along here. And then when we get down into this part of the mechanism, then what should happen is in behind here, just down in here, we can just see the side of the escapement mechanism kind of sticking out. So just down in here. Now that just isn't moving, which means that it's seized, and I'm not sure why. So it looks pretty straightforward to take the carriage off. This is going to be similar to on the Princess 300 I did recently. Well, I'm guessing so. I've had a bit of a look at it, and it looks like it'll be straightforward. We do know how to rewind the carriage spring, we've discovered. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to take the carriage off this one and see if we can get in and get access to this escapement mechanism. Okay, so I continue to sit the typewriter just back in the base because I don't want anything fouling on the working surface. But if we just have a look in here, to take the carriage off, getting the drawband string thing just here is straightforward. We've just done that. However, to get this past, oh, actually, I should be able to just, there we go. Oh, it's going to catch. So unfortunately, I actually need to, this is the absolute maximum that it can go even with the margin release on. So I do need to take this little bar off the back here, which is just 2 screws here and here, and then try and remember which order the pieces are in when I take it off, and then I should be able to slide the carriage straight off. Now, okay, so to take the back plate off, we need to remove these 2 screws. I did think it was a number 1 screwdriver. It's not, it's a number 2. So, and this just comes off. Okay, so this just comes off in one piece. I want to try and keep everything in the same order, so I'm just going to take it off and put it down how I found it. Okay, so I've got the drawband off, which means in theory, no, not that way, get this out of the way. Okay, so I'm not going to take it all the way off because I don't have to. One thing I am going to notice, and I learnt this on the Princess 300, is to just try and make a note of where the little bearings are. So it looks like there is a little wheel in there. So these things have kind of little bearing cages with a couple of bearings, which I think I can see through here and here, and I can certainly see a little star wheel in here. So this is important to note because I need to understand where this is so that if I did take the whole carriage off, I could get it lined up properly when I put the carriage back on. That is definitely something I learned on the Princess 500, because it got to the point where, yeah, taking it off was easy and putting it back on was straightforward, but it took me half a dozen goes to get it all lined up so the carriage didn't flop around. Okay, but what we can see though is we can see something in here just will, it is completely seized. So I'm just going to have to play with this, I think. I think I will be flushing it a little bit with some rubbing alcohol, but I completely seized. So until this moves, my space bar won't move, and my keys, when I hit them, at the moment, they're not actually coming all the way in, right? So if I hit, say, so I have the 8 key fully depressed as far as I can on the keyboard, but the actual arm doesn't come in all the way a bit, and as soon as this loosens up, I have no doubt that the type slug will come all the way in. Oh, and the other reason that I know it's definitely something wrong with the escapement, apart from the fact that I just can't move it at all, is that my backspace doesn't work. So when I have this, you can see that it actually wants to, like the mechanism gets all the way in, so you can see this little kind of bar in here wants to move, but it just doesn't. So this is stuck like glue, and I have to unstick it. And just for reference, I basically have the end of this little kind of bearing cage, which is plastic in this machine, seems to be lined up just with the edge of this little U shape here. So it's just to the right of that. And it's the same. There is another one. So these carriage rails on this machine are tilted like that. On the Princess, they were flat. So the bearing race here, bearing race down there. So there's one little bearing cage here. There is another little bearing cage just down in here. You can see it, that's at the same point. So that's just really important to note for when I'm putting it back together, in case I have to take this carriage all the way off, which I'm trying really hard not to. There we go. I really don't want to have to. Okay, so I'm incredibly annoyed with myself because when I got to editing this video, I discovered that this whole section where I got the escapement working, I mustn't have pressed record. So I don't know how I did that, but anyway, so it was really straightforward. I'm going to talk you through what I did. So I've taken the drawband back off again so I could try and move the carriage out of the way. Now, what I did was really simple. You don't even need to move it as far as I had earlier in the video, but I had my syringe full of rubbing alcohol, and then I just flushed it, and I will zoom in for that. So I flushed just in here at the escapement wheel. So I did a syringe of alcohol from this side. I wiggled it a little bit with my finger to try and get it working, and it wouldn't budge. So I moved the carriage over to this side and tried to get in from, this might not pick up on camera, but I tried to get in from this side. So just down here, there is, that's not focusing, I can see it on camera, but sorry, I can't get that to focus, but just down in here, I got the escapement wheel from this side, and then I wiggled it a little bit, it wasn't working. So because the access was better from over here, move the carriage back, And then I got out a screwdriver and I was just trying to move the escapement wheel with the screwdriver. And I had to be careful because I didn't want to burr the teeth at all. But what happened was eventually this just gave. It was stuck solid, and then it just went crack. And that was just kind of the gummed up seal kind of breaking. And then I kind of worked it a little bit with my fingers, just back and forth a little bit. Did another round of the alcohol, and then it just freed up so quickly. And then after that, I was able to start using the backspace and using the keys. So if you ever want to test that, you don't have to put the drawband back on it to test it. It will work with the backspace. You can see it working at the top of the screen. I'm pretty sure that's all the way. I know it's not. I can go a little further. And if you want to check the typing, just put a gentle amount of pressure on the right hand side. And then if you can push it along, as you can see me doing there, then that's going to work. So I can't hit the keys properly. That's a me problem, not a typewriter problem. But yeah, so straight away I could start to see that this was working. The escapement was moving. I became very, very happy. Okay, so once we were sure everything was moving back and forward, I was able to reattach the back margin bar with... Okay, so I just left that assembled the way it came out. Put that back in, because you need this to go in first before you can tension the drawband, because the drawband hooks into... Oh, I may as well actually, whilst I have it off, show you what it is. It can be a little hard to see when it's all on the machine, but when I talk about the little U-shaped bit, that's what it is. So it's just a little U-shape, and then this knot sits, there we go, and I'll zoom in. So you've got the string sits in the slot, and then the knot catches and it doesn't pull. So this needs to be back on the typewriter before I can retension the drawband. Anyway, so I'm going to do that off camera and I'll be back in a moment. Bye. Okay, so I've screwed the base back on it. I've put the ribbon in. I don't want to put the top back on it just yet, just in case I discover something else is going to go wrong. But it actually looks like it's going to be okay. So if I put the paper stand up, let's get paper. So I think that probably feeds ever so slightly crooked, but that's marginally so. Anyway, I think I have it on black. Okay. So I'll just move that down. There we go. So look, this seems to work. Well, it seems to work great guns. Look, there's a little bit of marking down on the bottom with the type bars. That is not today's problem. If I decide it bothers me enough to worry about, I can do it in a future video. But as it doesn't happen in the black, it only happens in the red, it's probably not going to bother me at all. So I don't care. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay, so I'm not going to do a review of the machine today. I'm not going to do a features overview. This video, I'm sure, will be long enough as it is. So all I wanted to do was just troubleshoot the machine for this video. So we got it, the carriage was sitting way off to the side, it didn't move, the keys didn't work, they didn't strike the platen, the spacebar didn't work. So in this video we've managed to fix the carriage spring and the drawband. So we've managed to put that all kind of back together, and we can see how to take that off, and we can see how we take the carriage off if we need to. We've also loosened up the escapement mechanism, which for a while there I was really worried it was going to be more complicated than it turned out to be. But all it was seized from lack of use. So a bit of the good old rubbing alcohol managed to flush that out, and just kind of playing with it and working with it for a few minutes. And as soon as it just cracked that first time, it suddenly got really, really easy to move. And the easiest way to tell that initially was because the backspace started working. So I'll do just a general overview of this machine in the future, but I suspect I would probably like this. The only thing I would comment on that I think is a bit odd at this point in time, and I don't think it'll pick up on camera, is just the numbers keys are just angled back differently. And this might be different if it was the olden days and you have a typing desk where the typewriter sits a lot lower than our computer keyboards do. But yeah, I'm quite tall, and I find just the angle of the numbers on this from the couple dozen words I've typed just a little bit odd, but I do like the action. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me again at Finger Thinking today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it when you can do that. It just helps the algorithm promote the video, and more people get to see Finger Thinking videos. So yeah, if you have any comments, if you know anything about this machine, if you know anything about this Royal 200 that's apparently made by Triumph Adler but has SFA information about it online, yeah, leave me a comment. I would really, really appreciate it. So yeah, look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Finger Thinking video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.